And next, we're going to talk about making application-like Power BI reports that users love. We are very privileged in this bootcamp to see very nice demos. Everything is smooth, everything is final, everything is understandable. But those reports might not seem like yours when you're just starting to create reports. So in this session, we will talk that it's not just about the data, because yes, well, you might have the data, the outcome, easily speaking, couldn't be the best at the first sight. But then when it comes to report acceptance by the end user, the report exploration and navigation experience matters too. So this time, Aldis will be talking about how to create your reports user-friendly. Thank you, and Aldis, welcome back to the virtual stage.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sharing my screen again, so I hope it's visible.
Yes.
You can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, and as David said, that actually what we have currently as where the trend of BI reports are going on, we could say, and we could see it from the effort that BI vendors put in it, driving the ideas. Like, it's not just Microsoft. Microsoft do a lot of effort to show how to build application-like BI reports, but also if we look at the SAP Analytical Cloud and other products, we see the same trend. And I'm sure, somehow I believe that actually the first best report in this contest also should look like application more. What it means to look at the application. Imagine, application like, it means that it's actually the same look and feel, same behavior that we have this application. It means there is a menu, there is a buttons, close, open, enable, disable, and so on. It's something interactive, more interactive. And one of the examples how to build it, or one of the first who did it for Power BI, there is a nice site, Power BI tips. I encourage you to explore it, to look at it, how to develop your data using the application like look and feel. And I also will show you how to build that, things like that. Imagine this is a way what we think that how to build the Power BI reports like applications. Like, we have a menu here, we could click on them, item 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will change the screens. We have this filter and information on other buttons. There is this nice report which looks like a beautiful image, like infographics, but actually it's clickable, and we could look at different views on top of this report. So that is a way how we could build this interactive application-like reports. And let's go to demo. So spend most of the time of this session for demo and how to build it. So here we have this blue, remember this blue application. What we have, it's in Power BI view. That is why we see this borders when I do a mouse over on the object. But when it's published, it's of course clear. The experience looks very smooth. So, for example, this eye. We assume that by clicking on that, we will have an information window. And let's do so. So I'm clicking on it, and it's right. We have a model information window, which looks like real application. There's a close button. I'm clicking close, and it's closed. For example, let's do a filtering. And I click on here, and we have the interactive field list. So I could choose a field. I could choose some filters here, click close, and actually it's filtered by filters I used. I click on item 2, and I have a separate screen. So I have this smooth application like CRM or other application experience, that actually this menu items gives me the feeling of different interaction with my report. And let's look how to build these things. And first, what I want to show you is how to build this grid-like, or this in presentation we have this like grids here, nice grids with like we could pack our report in different views. So how to do that? Actually, you could build it, for example, using PowerPoint. I'm using PowerPoint for it. It's enough for me. For example, and you could build as you want. So you could build any type of grid like this one. And what to do? let's make a picture out of it. So we could maybe make it larger to get more quality. Play with borders, whatever. So you see that it is just call it demo 1. It's just a PowerPoint grid. So it means that you could use here different colors if you want, one darker. You could put images here or different type of borders. So it's up to you how to make it more visible and how to structure your report. And remember last week I also did a session when I showed how to build a great dashboard. It means that you need to use this grid-like structure. How to put it in Power BI? It's actually, again, very simple. We are going to format pane on our default page, and here you have the page background. And you could add an image to this page background. And if we add an image to page background, actually use this image we created here, reduce transparency, because usually it's here is a transparency, and you see that we could choose a fit or fill. Its fit is better. So, and you see we have this grid on our page. So in our report, actually, if we do a duplicate of the page, we will have this on each page, and we can add, and we have this grid, default grid. So it's not image we need to carry on. It's always on the background. And now we can, when we get data in our report, example, create the measures like here, and we could put a measure here. Let's make it smaller to fit into a box. So we have it in our box. We are creating some charts like this one and put it here. So that is how we could create our report. And if you like, you could keep a background white, so it will be like white on gray, so it looks very nicely. Or you could remove background for the chart, and it will look even like transparent. So you could adjust colors. You could have a sales here. So that is how we can create. Let's add a product table. Add it here with some additional data. So that is, or let's add. And we have this sales data, but we want to create it as it is like not a data aggregated, but as data flow and as a line, for example. So that is how we build our report, and you see that it looks very structured and very nice, and that is just because of this this grid we created in PowerPoint, and that is how it looks like application. But now let's create this information. For example, this information button and information model window. So let's click on insert, and I will use a button. And here you have some predefined buttons you could use for like with icons. And let's use this with information icon. Here I make it larger and enable button text and say information or about report or whatever we could add. We could add even pictures, like we could add an image, for example, for you could make a toggle image, like switch on, switch off some parts of your report. And by clicking on it, it will like switching on, switching off. So it will look like really application-like controls. But let's finish this information. So now we have this, all the buttons, and we need to create this information shape. So I will start with I will build it on top of rectangle. This will be my information screen. I could put whatever I want here in this information screen. Let's create a nice dark gray border, and I will put some text on top of it. Like here, I could add an images here and other stuff. And here I will provide some text information about report, creator, sales report, and so on. So we could add any kind of information we like. It could be instructions, we could add some images, and so on. What else we need to add here? We will add a close button, because we will add a blank button. So let's add, and it will look like real button, or we could add an image and it will look as a real button if we want, from some operating system. And we will add this close, or in the same way we could add this cross icon, which is usually closing button. And for example, let's adjust this one, and let's maybe add this close button. So I will add a close button, blank. And in this case, I will remove this. Make it more like a button. So by arrows, I'm positioning it. And we'll add a button text, just like X. And I will remove outline. So, and in this case, I also remove the background to have it transparent. And you see that this looks like the close X, like X. Let's make it larger. Okay. And that is, we have this window. Now we need to put it in action. So first we need, when the closing information, it's actually opening, and we're clicking on close here or here, it actually disappears. And for that, we need to use some page controls. And for that, we will use a selection and bookmarks controls. And when you click on them, you see we have a bookmark section, which actually are snapshots of the structure of the report, and what we see on the screen, this selection. I will remove, I will minimize field and visualization to have this. Now I see that this is a state when information button is clicked. and I'm adding a bookmark. I say add and click on it, and I will name it information on. And now next, if I will delete it, it will never work. But actually what I need by using this hiding and showing elements, I'm hiding them. You see that now it's hidden. And now when it's hidden as I wanted, I created a new bookmark and say it's a information off. Or in this case, it should be default bookmark, probably. Information off. And now if you click on these bookmarks, you see that this works like on and off. Now I'm closing this section of for showing bookmarks and selection. And now let's try it out. So to click on buttons in Power BI desktop, you need a push control key, press control button and then click on it. So I holding control button and now I'm clicking on information. Sorry, yeah, too fast. Now, yeah, what we need to do, we need to put an action on buttons. So here's the information button. And when you click on it, you see that there is an action section. Let's enable it. And an action section, we will say that when you click it, use a bookmark, and bookmark will be information on. So we have this control. Let's get back to this selection, to bookmark section. Enable this, and also put this button action here on these buttons, and we say bookmark and information off. And for this cross button, also action, bookmark, information off. Now we are ready. To the demo, and I'm holding control button, clicking on information, and we have this info window. Now I'm clicking on close button, and I get to my usual report, and everything is working fine. Again, clicking on information, clicking on close, clicking on information, clicking on close button. So that is how we could get some application-like functionality. The same stuff we could create, for example, to show some reports or not. For example, imagine that we have or this idea of having filters, or let's add the button. I will show you just shortly. Just add the button when we want to show, for example, for the segments. Now it's a bar chart, column chart, but let's have a pie chart for this, and just name it as a pie chart. And let's look how it works. So what I do, actually copy this this report and put on top of the previous one. So you see that there is a column chart, off top of it there is a bar chart. And let's create this functionality, application-like functionality again, bookmark selections. So now I'm sales by segment. It's a column chart and sales by segment. This one is pie chart. And now we have this one. This is our default view. And let's create here is with a pie chart, and I add to bookmarks and say it's a pie chart. You of course need to something that's switching back, but in this case we will not need it. So pie chart, here we have our bookmark, and default again. Let's create a default. And this, I will remove this, and if I update, oh sorry, so I will remove it and update this default to have it without pie chart. And again, we are going back, clicking on pie chart button, say in action, bookmark, and pie chart. And now, if we go to report view and like, oh, I see the sales by segment, and I want a pie chart, we are clicking here on pie chart button and have the pie chart. And in the same way, you could create like showing reports in euros, in different currencies, like you have a euro, dollar, and pound button, and just clicking on them, you could switch one tile of the report. You see that whole report page is not reloading. You know, to switch on there's smoother experience of that. So there's just one element of this report will change. So, and as you understand, the same you could do with the slicers. If we information on, so on this information page, you could add the slicers and have them. So it's requires a little patience and a little nice planning to do it because sometimes we have this need a little bit be patient with that and design, and but at the end you have really nice application-like experience. So I think I'm again ready for questions.
Okay, thank you, Aldis. I like your demos. It feels a bit like meditation, and I believe that I'm not the only attendee or moderator of the event who thinks like that. It is very peaceful and such. The first question is, in your opinion, why companies are still building a lot of static, not interactive reports, and these app-like reports currently are not that common?
Yeah, it's because of history. Many. I could say that many organizations are not thinking, so they are not report consumption driven. It means that they are not analyzing so much who will consume these reports and for why, and how good are these reports. They have a process of creation of reports, and they understand that we must have reports. So if you ask any executive in any organization, do you need reports? They will say yes. But actually, again, if you ask them next question, what is your most efficient report in your organization? They will be stuck. So they can't answer. So that is how we need to like rethink the whole reporting whole reporting process, and we need to focus not on creation of reports, so create as many as reports as possible, and then hopefully someone will use it and find the actionable insights in it. But we need to analyze the demand, link it with business, and try to understand how our designed report actually helping business more.
Okay, next question. Can I also change the value used within the visual, not only chart type with the visual switch button, change the value used?
Yes.
Okay, that you can do it. Next, following up on previous questions, would you recommend to use bookmarks for value switch or achieve this through measures, bookmarks and measures?
It depends on the task, and again, it depends on your, let's say, on your skill or your experience with Power BI. Bookmarks are very bookmarks are simple, So to understand the logic and understand the switch, how it will be switched. But when you are more trained, it's maybe better to use measures. And yeah, so it depends on how you feel more comfortable with getting the result. Especially, you see that when you have a very complex layout and a lot of controls, bookmarks sometimes are not very so maybe not the best way. But if it's the only one way, then use bookmarks. But it shows the way it develops. It sometimes works not very fast with the bookmarks, but you can achieve extraordinary things with that.
Okay. The next one is from my side, that now we all saw how easy it is, at least it looks easy, to put everything in a grid-like format, that you just create that in PowerPoint and then you drag and drop all the data. How long would it take for a new organization and a new data science specialist to comply and get data so that we can play around as easily as you?
You mean by loading data or more by building reports in a grid layout?
By aggregating the data that the organizations might already have.
Yeah, I think it's not very hard. When you have this right idea in your mind, what to analyze, what you want to get, you could get data even from poor formatted Excel files. And usually all the sales data are in Excel files or export Excel files that are exported from your CRM system. So I think it's not most hardest task to get this data, but it's more to understand what kind of information you want to show, this actionable insights. And again, remember the sessions from last week, that you need to show what is important. You need to show maybe your best report ever is a report with one figure, like 5, and it means something like, if it's 5, then everything I need to do this. If it's 8, then I need to do something else. So maybe this report with one figure is more efficient report. So again, technique and technology, it's not limitation. That our imagination and business understanding is limitation.
Oh, thanks. This is a nice way to end. We're out of time, but this is the limitation, not all the tools, or that you can't do it, or that you need 5 years to do it, but the limitation is in your head. Thank you, Aldis.